Do you think you really know your families? That you know exactly who the people closest to you are? Well, I thought I did too, until I discovered that my husband was having an affair with my own mother. And you have no idea what I did when I found out. My name is Sarah. I'm 28 years old. And until 3 months ago, I was certain I was living the perfect life. Married for 5 years to Michael, a successful 32-year-old lawyer. We lived in a beautiful house in the suburbs of Denver. My mother, Linda, a 52-year-old woman who had always been my best friend, lived just 15 minutes away. It all started when I noticed small changes in Michael's behavior. He began working later, always with convincing excuses about important cases. He started exercising more, bought new clothes, even changed the cologne he'd been using for years. I joked with him, saying he was going through an early midlife crisis. My mother was also different. After years of always wearing the same conservative style, she suddenly appeared with more modern hair, younger clothes, even started wearing more dramatic makeup. When I asked about the change, she laughed and said she was rediscovering her femininity after years focused only on being a mother and worker. What intrigued me most was how the two of them had become close. Michael had always been polite to my mother, but distant. Suddenly, he was inviting her to dinners, offering help with repairs at her house, even started texting her asking how she was. I thought it was sweet to see my husband taking care of my mother. How naive I was. The discovery happened completely by accident. It was a Tuesday afternoon. I had left work early because I had a headache. I got home and heard voices coming from our bedroom. I thought Michael had come home sick and was maybe on the phone with a client. I went upstairs slowly, planning to surprise him with some tea. But as I approached the half-open door, the voices became clearer. It was Michael and my mother. "Linda, you know I can't keep lying to Sarah," I heard Michael say. "I know, honey, but she can't find out. Not like this," my mother's voice responded, softer than I had ever heard her. My heart started beating faster. They were talking about me. That was obvious. But why was my mother in my bedroom with my husband? Why did they need to lie to me? I pushed the door open a little more, and what I saw made my world collapse. My mother was lying on my bed, wearing only lingerie. Michael was sitting on the edge, caressing her face. They kissed in a way that made it clear this wasn't the first time. I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. I couldn't breathe, couldn't think. The two people I trusted most in the world were betraying me in the worst possible way. I backed away slowly, going down the stairs like a sleepwalker. I grabbed my keys and left the house, driving aimlessly for hours. When I finally stopped, I was in a mall parking lot, crying uncontrollably. Over the next few days, I pretended nothing had happened. I watched them both, looking for signs I had missed before. And they were everywhere. The exchanged glances during family dinners, the messages Michael received and smiled about secretly, the times my mother casually showed up when Michael was home. I discovered the affair had been going on for at least 6 months. My own mother was sleeping with my husband in my bed, in my house, while I was at work. But you know what hurt me the most? It wasn't just the betrayal. It was realizing they were planning to tell me. I overheard other secret conversations in the following days. They wanted Michael to divorce me so they could be together officially. My mother was willing to destroy our mother-daughter relationship for a man. That's when I decided to get my revenge. I started planning carefully. First, I looked for a divorce attorney, someone who didn't know Michael professionally. I explained the situation, and he helped me document everything I needed to ensure I came out of the divorce with an advantage. I installed hidden cameras at home, small, almost invisible ones. Within a week, I had more than enough recordings of Michael and my mother together. Not just conversations, but visual evidence that no lawyer could contest. Then I started investigating Michael's finances. I discovered he had used money from our joint account to buy gifts for my mother. Jewelry, clothes. He even paid for her bathroom renovation. I documented everything. But my revenge wouldn't be just financial. I scheduled a couples therapy session. I told Michael I felt we were growing apart and that I wanted to work on our relationship. He agreed, probably feeling guilty. On the day of the session, there was an extra person in the room, a private investigator I had hired. In front of the therapist, I presented all the evidence I had collected, the photos, the videos, the bank statements, everything. Michael went pale. He tried to deny it, but it was impossible with so much proof. The therapist was shocked. She said that in 20 years of practice, she had never seen such a well-documented situation. But do you think I stopped there? No. I organized a family dinner the following weekend. I invited my mother, Michael, my two brothers and their wives, my grandparents, uncles, and close cousins. I said I had an important announcement to make. During dinner, I was the perfect hostess. I served everyone's favorite food, smiled, conversed normally. Michael and my mother were visibly nervous, probably thinking I discovered the affair and make a scene. When it was time for dessert, I stood up and asked for everyone's attention. Family, I brought you here today because I have something very important to share. I began, holding a large envelope. You know how important family is to me, how I've always valued honesty and loyalty among us. That's why I thought everyone should know that Michael and I are getting divorced. And the reason is that I discovered that he's been having an affair with my own mother for 6 months. The silence that followed was deafening. Then it exploded into screams, questions, accusations. My brother stood up, furious. My grandmother started crying. My uncles demanded explanations. I opened the envelope and distributed copies of the evidence to everyone. Photos, conversations, bank statements. Everything organized, like a professional report. My mother tried to deny it, but the evidence was irrefutable. Michael tried to explain himself, but my brothers wouldn't let him. One of them, my older brother David, literally threw Michael out of the house screaming. But the best part of my revenge was still to come. You know, my mother had always been very proud of her reputation in the community. She volunteered at church, participated in the gardening club, coordinated charity events. Her image was everything to her. So, accidentally, some of those photos leaked to social media. It wasn't me directly, of course. It was a friend who was so shocked that she couldn't keep it to herself. Within 2 days, the entire small town where my mother lived knew the story. She had to resign from all her volunteer work. She lost most of her friendships. She even moved to another city a few months later. Such was her shame. Michael didn't escape unscathed either. I discovered that his law firm had a strict policy about lawyers' moral conduct. Someone sent an anonymous package with all the evidence to the State Bar Ethics Board. He didn't lose his license, but was suspended for 6 months and had to undergo professional counseling. Financially, I got half of everything that was ours, plus considerable alimony for the next 3 years, considering he used our money to fund his extramarital affair. My lawyer was flawless. But you know what was the sweetest part of my revenge? A month after the divorce, Michael showed up at my door. He said he had made the biggest mistake of his life, that he was sorry, that he wanted to win me back. Apparently, the affair with my mother had cooled quickly when the novelty wore off and reality hit. I listened to him calmly, even offered coffee. When he finished talking, I smiled and said, "Michael, thank you for coming here and being honest, but I need to tell you something." I showed him photos on my phone. Photos of me with a handsome man, clearly in a happy relationship. This is Jonathan. We met 2 months ago when I started therapy to overcome the trauma of discovering that my husband was sleeping with my mother. He's a psychologist, he's amazing, and he made me realize I deserved so much more than a man who cheated on me with my own mother. Michael's face was priceless. Oh, and just so you know, I continued, Jonathan is 35 years old. He's better looking than you, makes more money than you, and most importantly, he has character. something you clearly don't have. Michael left my house destroyed. I found out later that he tried to get back together with my mother, but she rejected him. Apparently, she had found another man, a 60-year-old widower, who didn't know her story. And me? Well, 3 months later, Jonathan proposed to me. Not because I was getting revenge on anyone, but because we found real love based on respect, trust, and honesty. Our wedding was beautiful, small, intimate, only with people who really mattered. Neither Michael nor my mother were invited, obviously. In fact, I cut off contact with her completely. Some family members tried to convince me to forgive, but I explained that forgiveness doesn't mean taking back someone who betrayed you in the worst possible way. Today, 2 years later, I can say that my revenge was perfect, not because I destroyed both their lives, but because it freed me to find real happiness. Michael lost a faithful wife and got a few months of an affair with a woman who betrayed him in turn. My mother lost a daughter and gained a destroyed reputation. And me? Well, I lost people who never deserved me and gained a new life, true love, and the certainty that I'm stronger than I ever imagined. The truth is that the best revenge isn't destroying those who hurt you. It's building such an incredible life that they realize exactly what they lost. It's becoming so happy that their betrayal becomes just a story you tell, laughing, because in the end, they did you a favor. Michael freed me from a marriage with a man without character. My mother showed me that not all family members deserve our unconditional loyalty. And the two of them together gave me the opportunity to start over and find something much better. Today, I know I'm worth so much more. And so are you.
If you enjoyed this story and want to hear more stories like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. I'm sure you'll be surprised by the next stories I have to tell.